Today on Locked On A's, Shintaro Fujinami has officially signed with the Oakland A's. He held a the A's held a press conference. We're going to talk about that, how he fits into the A's rotation, and what he brings to the A's in 2023. Let's get into it, you guys. How's it going, A's fans? And welcome to episode 520 of the Locked On A's podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Noted Baseball fan Jason Burke, and on today's show, Shintaro Fujinami is amazing, and I want to talk about him, so that's what we're going to do. Also, you may notice that I am in a hotel room right now, so we're having fun. I went to the AEW show. It was lots of fun, and now I'm recording very late at night, and hopefully I'm not disturbing the neighbors, so we're going to talk very quietly tonight. But anyways, thank you so much for making this your first listen of the day. We are free and available on all platforms, including on YouTube, so go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like the channel or the video, and then comment on the video, because that's how the podcast grows, because it helps the algorithm find other fans just like you, and that's how it helps me. So go do that. And if you don't know what to comment down below, just say, "So good at baseball, so handsome." That's all I ask. Anyways, follow the show at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at by Jason B on Twitter, and also check out Inside the A's for more A's news, insight, and analysis, because people need to know that the A's are, in fact, a baseball team. I was checking into this here hotel, and the person at the counter was like, "Hey, so you like baseball?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm an A's fan." And they were like an Angels fan? I was like, no, like the A's. I'm from the Bay Area. And they were like, "I don't know what that is." The team, they know what the Bay Area is. And I showed them my hat, and that rang no bells. And so, A's, get on that. Get down here to Fresno and do some marketing, I guess. I don't know. But that's for another day. Just add that to your task list, John Fisher. But today we're talking about Shintaro Fujinami, or as he would like to be called, Fuji, because he's just delightful. I had so much fun watching this 30-minute press conference on Tuesday. Days are escaping me, because he is a delight of a human being. He seemed like a lot of fun, and I'm so glad that he is on the A's. Also, I was so glad that the A's held a press conference, because they haven't done that in a decade. A full decade. Also, Scott Boras was at this press conference, so just lots of worlds colliding here, and it very rarely is Scott Boras involved in anything Oakland A's, and very rarely do the A's hold a press conference, but everything just happened all at once, and what an offseason it's been. John Fisher has opened up the coffers and is spending like a madman right now. I saw a tweet last week. It was on arbitration day, when everybody was getting their arbitration salaries, Tony Kemp and all that stuff. And I think it was A's Fans by Design, or A's Fan by Design. I think it was them that said they had a tweet, and it said, "John Fisher's bank. John, we're noticing a lot of weird activity here," and I thought that was hilarious. So, tweet of the week goes to A's Fan by Design for making fun of John Fisher never spending money and having his bank call him. Anyways, let's talk about this press conference, because Shintaro Fujinami, number 11 with the Oakland A's, is now a member of the Oakland A's. He's 6'6". That's the first thing that stood out to me. He is 6'6". You can read the numbers, but if you don't see 6'6", you're like, "Yeah, whatever, 6'6". Those are numbers they put together, and that's a tall person." He's a tall person compared to Mark Kotze and Scott Boras, his agent, and David Force, the A's GM. He's like a head taller than all of them. He was some very tall guy. And I think that on the last show, I said that they should just tandem start him and AJ Puck, just a 6'6" and a 6'7" righty-lefty combo coming at you for 4 innings apiece. That would be exciting baseball. If he command from both of these guys, from both of these tall gents, that's A's baseball in 2023. I want to see it, and some people might also want to see that as well. So I'm not going to name any names, but I got some traction on that. I don't know if it's a good idea, but oh man, do I want to see it. But he's 6'6". So that was my first takeaway. Also, he speaks a little bit of English. He had a prepared statement. He read his opening statement himself. It was in English. It was very well said. He thanked everybody. That's he's known ever. So that was good. He also said, "Go Oakland A's" at the very end of it, and I loved that because he's all about the A's right now. They're the team that gave him his opportunity. I love that. And he seems to be liking his time here so far. He likes the A's. And fun fact, his favorite place in, I'm going to say America right now, is the Coliseum. Last Dive Bar is having lots of fun with that. The Coliseum, he wouldn't name any of his favorite sites, but he's like, yeah, I liked going to the ballpark. That was really cool. So he loves the Coliseum. New York, you suck. The Coliseum is where it's at. And the Coliseum will have Fuji pitching at some point this season. I love this. Just getting Fuji to sign with the A's has made me very, very happy about the prospects of the A's in 2023. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but I like this guy. He makes me like this team even more, and I think that is not beside the point. I think that is a big reason why you sign somebody like this. Also, they have the jersey giveaway if you sign up for like the Fuji package, which you get like tickets to a game, and then a Shintaro Fujinami jersey with his name in Japanese and the number 11. And I didn't get those tickets, but I want that shirt so bad. Because I have one of those. It's an Ohtani one, but it says Angels and it's red, and I don't look good in those colors. But I really like Ohtani, so I want one for my team and my guy. So I'm looking forward to that happening at some point. He is also very excited to face Shohei Ohtani, both on the mound and as a batter. Not him batting, Shohei Ohtani batting. I believe he said, I'm paraphrasing. He said that he was going to beat him at some point. But I'm going to say that he said he was going to eviscerate Shohei Ohtani and become the new best player in baseball. Just to drum things up. No, he said that he's very much looking forward to it. He did like jokingly say, no, I'm going to win when I face him, or something to that effect. It was like a castaway line, but I thought it was funny. He's also looking forward to facing Seiya Suzuki of the Chicago Cubs, which the A's will be facing Seiya Suzuki and the Chicago Cubs at some point this season. I think it's actually in May, end of May. I remember asking everybody who the A's were playing on their birthdays, and for some reason, a bunch of people said the Cubs, and they only play them once, and I think it's at the end of May. So mark your calendars. I don't know if it's here or there, but Seiya Suzuki going against Fuji should be a lot of fun. Just last thing from this press conference on his front, what he's what he's going up to, or what he's up to. He is now back in Japan. He returned on Wednesday to go get his visa to get ready for the 2023 baseball season. Once that is secured, and Mark Kotsay, maybe it was either Kotsay or Forrest, said like, oh yeah, Scott's got the hookups for those things. He'll have it in time. It's fine. And I thought that was funny because Scott Boras probably does in fact have many hookups to get visas like really fast. So good for him. He's a good agent. He also was very reserved in his thoughts about a salary floor, I thought, because he was with the A's. And I thought that was a good time as well, but that's for another day. So Fuji has returned to Japan, and he's going to be coming back stateside, reporting to Mesa a little bit early to get acclimated to the culture, acclimated to just the facilities, and just acclimated to life out here, because this is where he's going to be doing it for at least the year of 2023. So I'm very excited for what is to come from Fuji and all of that stuff. But coming up, we're going to be talking about how he fits into the A's rotation. So stay locked in, you guys. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, analysis, things. Where the hell? There we go. It's there. I found it. Now we can start again. BetOnline is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from pro football to college bowl season to basketball and World Cup. World Cup's over. Bet on Argentina. That's my bet online take for today. Bet on Argentina. I got a good feeling about them this year. They've got it all over at betonline.net. And if you love sports podcasts, and I'm guessing that you do, because you're listening to one currently, you can find those over at BetOnline as well. They're always the fastest and easiest way to get your sports betting info. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more, because BetOnline is where the game starts. Welcome back to the Locked On A's podcast. If you guys are enjoying the show, make sure to subscribe wherever you like to hear podcasts. Follow us on social media at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. I'm by Jason B on Twitter. Check out Inside the A's for more A's news, insight, and analysis coming your way. Whenever there's news or insight or analysis, I got you covered over at Inside the A's. So go follow Inside the A's on Twitter and on Facebook so you never miss an article over there. But let's talk about Fuji in the rotation, because that is where he is expected to start. David Forst, the A's GM, said he expects Fuji to be in the rotation. That's a quote from the press conference. It was streamed. There you go. So that is an expectation. We will see what happens after spring training, because there's a lot at play here, and health and effectiveness are two of those things. When healthy, the rotation should shape up to have Cole Irvin probably opening day against probably Shohei Ohtani, so that should be a lot of fun. And then behind him, you got Paul Blackburn, assuming health, and then you got Shintaro Fujinami, very excited. And this is not in any order. I'm just naming the five guys. So Shintaro Fujinami, I would love to see him pitch against the Angels. Get the Japanese media would have a field day with him facing off against Shohei Ohtani at some point in that series. It doesn't have to be pitching. It could just be as a hitter. That'd be great. So I would love to see that at some point. They played still like 10 times over the course of the season. It'd be fine. And then you got Drew Rucinski, the signee from the KBO. He spent 5 years over there and was the most effective pitcher in those 4 years in the KBO. So he's a solid bet to be in the rotation. He's made 30-plus starts in each of the last 4 seasons. He can give you innings and starts and be healthy and consistent. He might be like the linchpin guy in this rotation. If he goes down, there's some more question marks going around. But him and Cole Irvin, you're going to get health and fairly steady, results from both those guys, I think. So those are two big guys. And then, assuming health, you got James Kaprielian somewhere in there, maybe fifth, maybe fourth, maybe third, I don't know. But James Kaprielian and Paul Blackburn, if he to start the season, maybe, I don't know. Mark Kotsay not refused. He said that he didn't want to talk about other guys' health. He wanted to let them, say what their health situation is probably when spring training starts. So we'll probably be getting updates on those on February 15th or thereabouts, because that is when pitchers and catchers report. That is the first day of camp. So get excited. It's a month away. Camp starts so soon. Baseball. Love it. Obviously, James Kaprielian had shoulder surgery, so we do not know if he's going to be ready at the start of the season. He might be able to pitch a little bit in spring training. He might not be built up to be a starter just yet, so that is where his iffiness comes in. And then you got Paul Blackburn, who finished the season, the 2022 season, on the IL, so how healthy will he be to start the 2023 season? What's his health like right now? We don't know. So waiting in the wings, you got 3 other guys by my measure. I mean, there's more. There's like 6 other starters that could be in the rotation, including AJ Puck, who is going to be stretched out. But I wasn't planning to talk about him. But AJ Puck, the plan is still to stretch him out and maybe have him be a starter. At least stretch him out, maybe have him be a longer guy, or maybe a tandem starter or a piggyback starter. I don't know. But if the plan is to try and get him back into the rotation, you need to probably up his innings workload in 2023, because he was at 66, I believe, last season. So you want to get him around 100, and then maybe you can get like 140, 150 out of him next year as a starter. And that would probably be the best course of action for the Oakland A's in, the next 2 seasons, assuming he can stay healthy, which is, he did it in 2022. So that's good news. Let's see if he can do it again. That's the next step, I would imagine. But behind the 5 that I already mentioned, in Irvin, Blackburn, Fuji, Rucinski, and James Kaprielian, you got Kyle Muller, who the A's are excited about after getting him in the Sean Murphy deal. He just needs a chance to start at the major league level. He has one option left, so he doesn't necessarily have to be, he doesn't have to be in the rotation. He doesn't have to be in the major leagues, but maybe. And then you got Ken Waldichuk, who was good. He has wins against Shohei Ohtani and Jacob deGrom already. So those are two good starters right there, both lefties. And then you got J.P. Sears, another lefty. Those are the three guys that will be, probably knocking on the door behind these five guys. So if two of them are down, two of those guys are probably going to be making the rotation. And then you got, your Adrian Martinez and your Adam Allers. And that's all of your starting rotation options at this point in time. That's a lot of guys. A lot of guys with some talents. So I think that Fuji really lengthens the depth that the A's already had. They already had 10 with A.J. Puck. Now they have 10 without A.J. Puck. And so they've got some depth that they're built for, being able to sustain productivity with injury involved and stuff like that. So I'm intrigued to see how it goes. A lot of these guys have also pitched with a pitch clock. So they're not going to be taken aback by anything that has happened or any of the new rule changes. So let's see what happens in 2023. I think they have a good group. David Forrest is excited about the group of pitchers that he has. Manolo, one of the reporters at the press conference, said that there's a now rotation and a future rotation. And David Forrest said that he needs to send that to marketing because that's kind of what they have right now. And for me, it's a little bit weird that you have most of the now rotation in pitching now and not somewhere else. Whereas the future rotation, which is ready now or could use more work at their major league level. So the recording paused, and I don't know when it paused. So I'm just going to say the A's have a lot to be excited about right now. They have a lot of depth, both in the starting rotation and in the bullpen. That's amazing. And I'm very excited about what the A's have to bring in 2023. But coming up, we're going to be talking a little about just what Fuji brings to the A's in 2023 and why I'm very excited about him being a member of this team wherever he fits in. So stay locked in, you guys. Welcome back to the Locked On A's podcast. If you guys are enjoying the show, make sure to subscribe wherever you like to hear podcasts. Follow us on social media at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at @ByJasonB on Twitter. Check us out at Inside the A's on Twitter and Instagram, or Twitter and Facebook at Inside the A's, so you never miss an article over there. And go subscribe to the YouTube page because we want to get to 1,000 subs by opening day. We're getting very close. There's 30 a week of you guys. You guys are doing great. So thank you to everybody who's already subscribed. Tell your friends. Tell your friends that the A's are a baseball team. That's helpful, I think, in growing the channel, as well as liking, commenting, and subscribing down below. But let's talk about how Fuji. I keep wanting to say Shintaro Fujinami, and he doesn't want me to. So Fuji. How does Fuji improve the A's pitching staff in 2023? There's a lot of upside here. I gotta say, there's a lot of upside. He really seemed to turn a corner in the second half of the 2022 season. He showed improved command. He was using his slider a little bit less, which led to that a little bit. He said that he's very confident in his slider during the press conference, which I wouldn't expect him to say that he's not. So I don't know what to make of that, but he said that he's confident in it. So that's good. That's good news, I guess. But if he has truly figured out his command and he can control 3+ pitches, he's going to be a pretty good starter, I would imagine, for the A's in 2023. I don't know if he's going to be pitching for the A's much beyond 2023 or for the duration of 2023, but for as long as he's here, he could be a good starter if he has 3 pitches and he's throwing the pitches that he has. He could have a 3.5 ERA for the A's, and that the A's did not have one of those guys last year in the starting rotation. So if he pitches well, he's going to be in the A's starting rotation, and he'd be good. And if he's not good in the rotation, they can move him to the bullpen, and he'd probably be good there because he would only need his fastball and his splitter. His fastball runs 96, 97, probably 97 in the bullpen, and his splitter last year out of the bullpen was going 92, which would be the 3rd or 4th hardest splitter in the majors. So he's got some two solid pitches that he can control. At the very worst, he's going to be a reliever. If the A's are hoping to flip him at some point and trade him, obviously you want him more as a starting pitcher, but you could probably do okay for a reliever that's about to break out that, hey, maybe he's apt for like a 4-year, $40 million deal. Maybe a team wants to take a stab on him and get him signed before he reaches free agency. I don't know. There might be some value in that. But hopefully the A's are the team that sees the value in that, and they sign him. As I talked about before, John Fisher has not handed out a lot of money in the past. I think his most expensive deal was technically Chris Davis, who they traded a year into the 2-year deal, and he was set to make $32.5 million. So it's not like the A's are going to do... 4-40 doesn't sound like a lot, but the A's haven't done that either. It's a lower average annual value, so maybe that's the key, just that annual value right there. But if he pitches well, hopefully the A's can lock him up for a little bit longer. He said, David Force said that it was important to Fuji to get an opportunity to start in the majors, and I thought that was very interesting phrasing, because he said an opportunity. He's going to have that opportunity in spring. If he doesn't seize the opportunity or he doesn't do well with it, then you could move him to the bullpen. It'd be fine. He'd be good there. But I think they want him to be a starter. Like they want AJ Puck to be a starter. One of them can be. Maybe both if you use them in tandem. But only one of them is probably going to be. And I would say that Fuji is probably the better bet of the two. Just because Puck's more of a long-term project, I would imagine. Also, I thought that it was interesting. I had this quick Twitter discussion with Melissa Lockhart of The Athletic in her piece talking about the A signing Shintaro Fujinami. Keith Law was, he was the co-author of that piece. And in the comments, somebody asked what the team control looked like for Shintaro Fujinami. Obviously, it's a 1-year, like $3.5 million deal with like a $1 million in incentives. And they were like, oh, so does he like go to arbitration after this? And according to Keith Law, that is usually how this works, unless it's, in the contract that is not how it works, and they just they get like non-tendered and then they hit free agency because they have to. And that's worked into the contract. That's just the language that is in there. And Keith Law's like, unless that's in there, and then he's probably just going to hit arbitration, and he is under team control up until that point. And I was like, that is not what I thought, actually. So that was surprising. So I asked Melissa about that, and she also did not know. She was like, we both are very not familiar with the A's signing free agents on the international market like this. So it was a new thing for us to learn. And she learned and then told me that he will, in fact, be a free agent at the end of the year, which is kind of what we expected. But also, dang it, I was kind of excited there for a second. I was like, ooh, dang it. So that kind of stinks. So, oh well, we get him for 1 year, and hopefully if he's pitching well through like May or June, the A's decide to, sign him for longer, because he's going to bring people to the ballpark. He's going to bring exposure with the Japanese media to the ballpark. He's going to bring fans to the ballpark. That's kind of what you want in a player, I think. I know that, the A's have had good teams, winning teams. Your Sean Murphys, your Matt Olson's, your Matt Chapman's. But were they like single-handedly bringing guys or people to the ballpark? I'm not sure. I think the Fuji can. So maybe they can actually sign him. And maybe I'm just delusional because I've been doing this for too long. By doing this, I mean being an A's fan for too long. And to be an A's fan for this long, you got to have a little bit of crazy in you. And that's my crazy is every now and then, I think the A's might sign somebody. So we'll see. You can save the audio. I don't know. He's going to be traded by the end of spring training, isn't he? Anyways, Thank you so much for making the Locked On A's your first listen of the day. For your second listen, go check out Lindsey Crosby. He's talking prospects over there at Locked On MLB Prospects. He does a good job over there. Coming up on tomorrow's show, Ramon Laureano is not trade bait. So we're going to talk about that and whether or not that's a good idea. If you're a longtime listener, I might surprise you. We will see. I might surprise you in a depressing way. We'll find out. But that's all that I got for you guys today. Thank you so much. Again, check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs by opening day. We're getting close. We're like 250 away. So just go subscribe to the channel. But anyways, that's it for me today, you guys. Until next time, go out and celebrate good times, A's fans. And I will talk at you tomorrow.